Huddle up, team.
In today's video, we're going to be talking about your financial identity and
Mm,
how it creates your financial habits and how your financial habits will influence your financial identity.
mm-hmm,
Okay? All right. Now, we're going to use as our inspiration this
mm,
book right here from James Clear. It's called Atomic Habits. We listened to a bunch of interviews that he did last year talking about the book, and we loved it.
yeah,
And this year, we decided that we would pour back into it and delve into this thing and read the book and listen to all the audibles, the whole thing, and try to get more out of it because we've
mm,
grown a
mm-hmm,
bunch over the last year.
mm,
And as you grow and when you revisit stuff you've already learned, you learn it differently,
that's right.
right?
Yeah.
So it makes a difference as you grow and learn. The same content will affect you in a different way. So we're really excited to go through this with you.
It makes clearer sense almost.
Right.
Complete sense.
I get it. All right. So one of the things he says is that few things can have a bigger impact on your life than improving your daily habits.
Mm,
And that applies to your financial habits. And so I want to encourage you all to go get a copy of this book, listen to it on Audible, but from the perspective of how to change your financial habits
mm,
and how to work on your financial identity, because there's a loop here. And James talks about how your financial habits will influence your financial identity, and your
mm,
financial identity will then shape your financial habits. And we're going to talk about that today, and it's going to change your life.
mm,
So stay tuned, watch the whole thing, and we're going to share some personal stories too about how we've changed as a result. But
mm,
unhealthy habits can feel impossible to break.
mm.
But that's a feeling, and we're here to tell you that you can change your life. That's kind of a constant theme throughout
Mm-hmm,
all of this because we know you can.
mm-hmm.
We've changed our lives, we continue to change our lives,
That's right.
and we want to encourage you and your spouse
Mm-hmm,
that you can change your life too. Okay?
mm-hmm.
So let's dig into some of this. Honey, what did you get from reviewing some of this content or reading this book?
Well, one of the first things is a habit. A habit is an established routine or practice performed each day. A
Mm-hmm.
healthy habit would be a solid routine, one that contributes to a day each day.
Okay.
And so we want healthy financial. We're changing
Oh,
our
yeah, we
habit,
do.
right?
Yeah.
I guess I'm being picky with words, but healthy financial habits.
Yeah, because you got good habits, you've got bad habits, and then you
Right.
got ugly habits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what we want to do is, and he talks about this in the book. The first step is awareness, right? You got to
Yeah.
kind of do an inventory, because here's the deal: you already have financial habits. You already do things the way you do them without even thinking about them. And part of the issue for so many of
Yes.
us is that we don't take time to take an inventory. We don't take
Mm-hmm.
time to be aware and reflect on why we do stuff the way we do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the great things about this book is that it challenges you to do an inventory and to think about, and from a financial perspective, think about the financial habits you have and why you've got them, and are they
Mm-hmm.
serving you? And then what can you do intentionally to change them? Or to think about your financial identity, inventory that, and think about, is that serving you? Is that really in alignment with who you want to become?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's not, then you can change your identity by believing differently and speaking differently and acting differently, and that will influence your habits,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that'll change your life.
Yeah. Well, we talked about some of those things that we brought in last week.
Uh-huh.
The how we dealt with money as a kid. Even those young things. Like I said, I'm a spender and
Mm-hmm.
I'm a giver,
Right.
and I still am almost always that way first.
Right. Right.
um,
And that's good. That's who you are, and that's awesome.
yeah. So I have this. Healthy financial habits are the compound interest of self improvement.
Mm.
The effects um, of them apply as I repeat them. The effects of them multiply as I repeat them.
Yeah, I want to repeat that in case you
Mm-hmm.
missed it. Like that's a big quote from him. I love it. So it says that healthy habits, or your financial habits,
Right.
are the compound interest of personal development. So just like in when it deals with money, the compounding effects of money, it's exponential. It takes time, right?
Yes.
Same thing with your habits. It takes time. One of the things I love that he said is that people ask, well, how long does it take to change a habit? Is it like 21 days or 66 days, whatever? And he goes, that's not the point. The point is not the time. The point is the repetition, right? You've got to get your reps in. I mean, if you try to change your habits or change your identity, and you only do it once a month, you're never going to change it. Right. It's not going to happen. You got to get the reps in. So when it comes to our financial identity, do you say to yourself, "Oh, I'm no good with money. Oh, I'm never going to get out of debt. Oh, I'm never going to," you know what I mean? Like those things that you say to yourself, are they positive or negative? Right? You've got, and then decide, man, who do you want to become? Do you want financial freedom? Do you want financial independence? Then start speaking those things out loud, right? And then figure out, okay, if I were, what things would a financially independent person do? Or what things would someone who was striving towards financial independence, what kind of things would they do? What kind of habits would they have? And then start adopting them, right? And change your behaviors. Right. So it's kind of like an athlete, what kind of food would an athlete eat? Well, if you start eating like that, then you're on your way, right? Right. If what kind of behaviors? How would a financially responsible person spend their money? Well, not like crazy, not stupid, not impulsively, right? They wouldn't spend more than they bring in. So those are the kind of things that you want to reflect on and change your identity and align with the identity of someone who would become financially independent and change those habits. It's very intentional. It's very specific.
Yes, I'm intentional for sure. So those are like.
Do we want to talk about this?
Yeah.
So this was great. This is more stuff from his book. And can you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, like this. Is that good, honey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But you go ahead. Because often we work from the outside in, and what is really great about this is in changing the habit, breaking the old one, presenting a new one, and keeping that is working from the inside out. And the bullseye is me, is
your identity, right? Who are you, or who do you want to be?
Right. And what is it that I want?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And most people concentrate on the outside. It's like the outcome, the results orientation. It's like, I want to have $1,000. Or quit smoking or whatever. But when it comes to money, it's like, I want to have an emergency fund.
And then you work from there rather than the other way around.
How do you do that? And then, but the focus that James talks about in the book is focus on the who, your identity. I am someone that has an emergency fund funded.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, how will I get there? And then, what am I going to do to get there?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And it works.
Awesome. All right. What about your personal experiences, honey? Do you have anything you want to share that relates to your financial identity and your financial habits?
Yeah, I think, and I don't think I know, one of the biggest things that we have learned, it wasn't any specific person, more principles with, particularly in our finances, where I was we didn't talk about anything. Mm-hmm. I was too afraid to ask any questions, for a lot of reasons, and so I never asked any questions. In our home, John was doing the money, paying the bills, handling that.
Right.
And that was not hardly the best way at all. And we decided that does not work. That will not work.
Does not work.
So I think one of the biggest things is we decided, first of all, we were sorry. We asked for forgiveness for those things. There is no blame. There is no shame. I have no fear in coming forth and asking, but I also know how to find those answers on my own now too, because I'm not afraid. I mean, all around there was fear, like all around.
Well, and it was interesting, right? You had fear and I had anger.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I was angry at the situations we were in. I was angry at our behaviors, the choices we made, and how we would respond. and it's cluster, like it was so not good, and it just snowballed, right? Like it just escalated, and I got angrier, and you got more fearful. It seemed like, and it just was a disaster.
Yeah. So
So glad we're not there anymore. See,
yeah.
there's hope. I'm telling you, if we can fix it, you can fix it.
Communicate. We do about everything. Not so much not asking permission, but what are your thoughts on this?
Uh-huh.
On this, what we want to buy, or what are your thoughts on this? Um, yeah, just preferring each other in our spending,
Mm.
very much,
Uh-huh.
and not just. I mean, we literally do not go out without saying, what are your thoughts on this? We good to go?
Yeah, I want to spend so much money on doing this. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Are we in agreement on this?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I was just looking at my
So
notes.
thankful. So thankful.
It's way better, huh?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Love you. Thank you.
Thank you. I love you too, honey.
Mm.
One of the things that James said is behind every system
Mm.
of, I'm going to say behaviors, he said actions, but behind every system of behaviors are a system of beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, the identity is your beliefs.
Yes.
And behind so the way you behave, your habits, behind those are a system of beliefs about
Yes.
money.
Yeah.
And we just want to encourage you so much to change your beliefs, and it'll change your behaviors, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll change your habits, right? Believe that you can become financially independent. Believe that you can have financial freedom. I mean, financial freedom is a state of mind, okay? Financial independence is when you've got income coming in that will pay all your bills and you don't have to actively work for it every day.
Mm.
That's freedom. You can do what you want, where you want, when you want, with whom you want, for as long as you want. I mean, that's the goal. And I want to encourage you to start thinking like that, because you can have that. But you got to start thinking that way first and start putting those habits into place to make that
Mm-hmm.
happen. And when I was listening to the book on Audible, I had this, it's like, oh my gosh, financial independence is really financial emancipation,
Mm. Wow.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's your delivery from slave wages, or wage slavery, however you want to say that, right? I mean, I hope that you're not in this position, but how awful to absolutely hate your job,
Mm.
but have to go to it every single
Right.
day because you can't be without that paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
That's wage slavery, right? And so the objective, the goal would be financial emancipation, right? Where you get to the place where it's like you don't have to do that anymore. You've got income, you've got cash flow that's going to keep coming in whether you actively work that day or not. And there's a whole lot of things you can do to make that happen in your life, but it starts between your ears, man. We've got to think differently about money.
Mm-hmm.
And when we start doing that and start believing differently so that we can think and feel and behave differently, then you're going to have different habits. And this book is just, I love it,
Mm-hmm.
right? I just find it so challenging and encouraging, specifically as we apply it to our personal finances. James talks about, the book, and he's got examples from a business standpoint or a parenting standpoint or just, personal development standpoint. But read the book in light of your personal finances and financial independence and financial freedom. I think you'll find it really powerful, and it can change your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got anything else, honey?
No, I think I just want to re-emphasize. That's why, the bullseye, the our identity is what we believe in. And back to our personal story, we had to make a decision. What we were doing, we no longer wanted to do that.
It wasn't working.
It was our belief, that we were going to do better, and we have to do better.
Yeah.
And how did we do that? By communicating. We had that the second part of the how and the process, right?
Mm-hmm.
In order to get the result that we got,
that we wanted.
Peace.
Financial peace. Can't put a price on it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well, guys, I think that's it for today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining us. We would love to have you subscribe to the channel to get more inspiration, motivation, encouragement like this. We are going to start a series on putting your financial house in order, and you don't want to miss it. So subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified of when we publish our next videos. But be sure, like the video, leave us a comment. We love to hear. Do you want to hear more about the book and how to apply it to your financial life? Let us know. We can do that too as we dig in. I mean, every morning when we go out and exercise together, we're listening to this on Audible and we're reading it together. So I encourage you to do that with your spouse as well, and be intentional and specific about changing your
That's right.
beliefs and your identity and your habits.
That's right.
Okay, until next time, see ya.